All right, so for this, we're going to look at displaying type. Your text is pretty concise with how to do it using the loadFont functions. In the lecture, I also mentioned there's some other sort of text attribute functions. There's a leading, an alignment, and width. I recommend checking out the reference and playing around with those. For this week's form exercise, there's going to be one form is going to require you to play around with that. But I'm going to let you explore that on your own. For this, I want to show you a difference in using a loadFont function and a createFont function. So to start things off, we got our blank screen here, and we're going to go ahead and declare our pfont class, and we'll create here a name then for our font that we're going to use. We're just going to be super generic and just call it font. And the text that I'm going to print out, I'm going to go ahead and put it into a string variable. Again, this is capitalized because strangely it is a class. And we're going to call this string variable text, and we're going to assign it. I'll put it in double quotes so we know that it's a string and not just a character. And we're just going to write a simple message in here. And we'll close that out. Okay, now I'm also going to set up a sort of continuous mode program here, and I'm going to put in my two setup and draw functions. I'm just going to leave those blank for now. I don't know if I'll need it, but I'll just get it set up. And again, when I do these, I go ahead and have my opening and closing braces. I put those out right away so I know that the code block is going to be contained. So in the setup, we need to get a size function going here. Let's make this 600, 600. And font equals load font. And I'll put the double quotes in here. I don't know what font we're going to use because we have not created it yet. So in order to do that, again, we need to go into our tools and create font. And let's do dialog. Looks good enough. So dialog is going to be our font. We're going to have the alias anti-aliasing on. I'm putting the size at 48, just sort of generically there. I don't know how big I'm going to need it, but I'm making it perhaps a little bit bigger than I need. If I need to scale down, I can. And I'm going to click OK on that. And if I go into Show Sketch folder, I should get here's a data folder, and here is where my font is located. So I'm going to copy this, and hopefully I can do that. And I'm going to hit copy, and we're going to come back here and hopefully paste that in. There it is. Okay, so I now have that set up through there. Now, this is a multi-step process, right? So the next thing I need to do is hit my text font function, and I'm just going to load font. Okay, so text font is just getting this ready. The font is just declaring what I'm doing, which is this font right here, this dialog 48. So it's just getting it ready to be the one to use. If I wanted to use multiple fonts, I could declare another text font with that font name in it. And I would have to either dynamically toggle between the two or declare it before I wrote something to the screen. Anyways, let's get this going. We're going to I'm going to create a background here in my draw, and we're going to give that a value of 200 just so it clears the screen after every cycle. And I'm going to put in my text, and the text is going to be the text, strangely enough. And where are we going to put that? We're going to put that at 0, and let's put it at 100. And we will display it hopefully when let's do it this way. We're going to go into present mode, and it'll give us a full screen. There it is. Okay, and now we can see that in fact it is too big. So we're going to need to shrink that down a little bit. So how do we do that? We'll have to go into here. We'll go text size, and we'll give it, it was at 48, so maybe, I don't know, 35. We'll see if this works a little bit better. And it brings it down, and there it's displayed, and it fits in. So, all right, awesome. So that's working. Now let's try something a little bit more dynamic. We can start seeing the problems with the load font is that it's an image, so once you build it in at this size, it's kind of locked in. So to upscale it anymore, if you've ever done this with an image as well, it's going to start degrading in quality. So let's see that happen. We're going to let's try this. We're going to create a variable. I'm going to call it scale, and we're going to map our values. It's going to be, let's do width and 10 and 50. And we'll put our text size in here so it's dynamic, so we can see it kind of go up and down. So I'll take it out of here. I'll comment it out up here. And here we're going to make it a function of this scale. So essentially I'm just using the map to take, I'm going to use my mouse to enlarge it. It's going to be a number anywhere between 0 and the width. And I'm going to scale that between 10 and 150. So we know that 35 is going to fit, 48 is going to get too big, 150 is really going to get big. And we're going to see then the results of how this works. To make room for it, let's do, let me do something weird here just to get this in place. I'm going to go scale, and we're going to multiply this by 0.25. And let's multiply all of this by the same. This is just so it's going to fit into the screen once it gets large enough, otherwise it's going to move off the screen entirely. Let's see what happens. Let's present it. And here we go. So it scales and somewhat stays on the screen for us. And you can see once you get to this large size, this font really starts breaking down. You see the sort of jaggedies that are in it. Not looking so good once it gets scaled. So let's get out of this. Now we're going to try a different way so it's not, so we get a little bit better quality when we scale things. Let's do a second. So I'm going to do another font. I'm going to declare this font 2, and I'm going to load this one up, but this time I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do, instead of loadFont, I'm going to go createFont. Again, I'm going to give this the same font type, this dialog, and we're gonna call it the same too. We'll give it a 48, just so it's comparable. And we'll add another thing here to get that one ready, so we know that's the one we're using. And let's see what else we need. Text size, text. Yeah, I think this will work. So it's still going to go. It's starting at the same number, so it's going to scale up the same way. So let's take a look. There. Let me put it in the present mode so you can see it better. Present. And here it is. Now when we scale it up, we're seeing that we're not getting that same degradation in the quality, that this is actually staying pretty crisp. It's scalable, it's dynamic, it's looking pretty good. So with this, the load font is sort of the generic that's given, and for most general purposes this is going to work, but if you have any application where you know your text size is going to need to change, I think the create font is actually a better way to do it. And you can declare this at any number you want, really, because it'll start off super small here. But again, once you get up to the larger sizes, it's still holding up. So it doesn't matter really what size you declare it at. It's just going to be the first instance that it's run. So it looks pretty good. I think that's a kind of a better way to do it. So you get a sense of that. So that might be the way you're going to want to move forward.